everybody. I am happy to be back here to continue the flip through of my very first art journal ever, which I did back in the summer of 2020. So there's the cover, and this is part 3. What's going on under here? Oh, okay. This is part 3, so we're doing the next 4 spreads. This one, first thing I want to say is I want to talk about this little white line in the middle here. So in these art journals that I'm making with Coptic Stitch, on some pages there's going to be kind of a blank, or not a blank space, but a pronounced crack down the middle. So what I usually do in that case is I start off with some low-key collage and at least put a strip of paper, glue a strip of paper down over that centerpiece. But over time, as you're opening and closing, that little piece of paper that's trying to cover the crack, cracks itself, and you get this white line. So that's just what happens. I guess you could use something that wouldn't crack, like, I don't know, a strip of muslin or something. Anyway, that happens with time, and maybe it adds to the look of it, the vintage-ish look. Anyway, so this piece I'm calling Mystic Crows, White Crow, Black Crow. And there are white crows, and I don't know whether the white crows actually have blue eyes, but mine do. So, and he's kind of looking at her like, wow, look at those blue eyes. Anyway, the color scheme for this was inspired by Van Gogh's painting of almond blossoms. Just love the colors in that painting, and decided to try and do something using that as an inspiration. So black and white I thought would go good with those colors, and that's why I chose the crows. So the crows are drawn on separate pieces of paper and then ripped out, glued on, and you can see the edge maybe of the paper where I ripped it. And ripping it is going to give a more jaggedy edge than cutting it. And so a ripped edge is less likely to show than a cut edge. But in any case, there they are. The crows were drawn and glued on. And then I guess I must have done the background, or at least some of the background, after I glued the crows on, because the background, what do you want to call it? It goes quite nicely over this white, what would have been the white edge of the paper ripped around the crows. But the background is nothing really special. It's just modeled with paint and alcohol ink. And then I probably painted the crows next, and the little flowers. So the branches are done with a black Stabilo all pencil, which is water soluble, and when you put it down, it doesn't look that black, but once you activate it with water, it gets very black. If you use, instead of water, if you use matte gel medium, it's permanent. It can't reactivate. The leaves, they're just cut out from magazine clippings with appropriate colors, and then I drew in the veins with a Posca pen. Here's a little, this is probably, this is a little image of that painting, the Van Gogh almond blossom painting that he's standing on. And behind that, there's some rice paper, which is quite translucent once you glue it on, but it has a texture to it, so if you go over it very lightly with paint, the paint will just catch on that texture, and in this case I use gold paint. I have little motifs done with a white Posca pen, and then they have crown type things on top of their head. You know, there's nothing new under the sun, I guess, which isn't true, because as time moves on there are new things like cell phones. But anyway, the crown on the top of the bird's head is a cliche type of motif, but why not use it? I think one of the things that really helped this piece were these rows of white dots, which kind of, although they're very light against the background, grounds this collection of these two images. So I like this piece. I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. It's got splatters, gold dots, and a slightly darker edge all the way around, done with a Neocolor 2 crayon, which is, again, water soluble, and it's the same deal as with the Stabilo All pencil, that you can activate it with water or matte medium, and if you use the matte medium or another acrylic medium, then it's permanent. So Mystic Crows, White Crow, Black Crow, Blue Eyes. Next one. Okay, so when I did this piece, I was really into rats. I had this wonderful rat named Francie, and I discovered that she was called a fancy rat. And it says here, fancy rats are loving rats just like all the others, which I believe is true. And Francie was not particularly fancy because her markings were not unusual at all. She was a kind of a nice wood brown color rat with a lighter belly. Anyway, at the same time, I was receiving catalogs from Sundance Jewelry catalog, which I loved. And as I was looking through them, I thought, oh, some of these things, these are bracelets. It's a necklace, and that's part of a bracelet. They look like frames. So I decided to do a journal spread using those jeweled frames, framing little portraits of Francie, the fancy rat. And just a couple other things cut out from the catalog. This little piece of jewelry, I think these are two are earrings. Here's something, a little pearl clusters, a jewel, earrings, another cluster of pearls. More down here. So that's the story behind this one. I don't think it's spectacularly successful. I think it would have been better with more contrast, maybe between the jeweled framed elements and the background. Maybe the background should have been lighter, but in any case, I'm glad I put this light part in. And yeah, Fancy Rats and the Sundance Jewelry Catalog. This next one, this is one of my favorites ever, and this is called Tunnels of Love. And I have each of these cats in sort of this tunnel with these images which are supposed to look like fairy lights. So, what to say? There's so much in this one. The cats, of course, are the main part. I love cats. And these cats, none of them were full images when I retrieved them from magazines or wherever they came from. I think a lot of them were pet foods ads, and they'd show like part of the cat. So I had to replace what was missing with paint, which I did on each one of these, although at the moment I'm not really sure what part, well, this side, anyway, doesn't matter. So I had the three cats, and I had lots of these little floral images, and I don't know how the Tunnel of Love inspiration came to me, but it did. And I just tried to work through it with the clippings that I had, the floral clippings along with the images of the cats. This background is pretty complicated. Way behind here there are magazine images of a forest. This, I don't think, has any image behind it, although there's a lot of paint layers and alcohol ink and writing with pencil that's then covered up. These are drips of white acrylic ink. And this part down here was so hard. I think there might be 6 layers of collage here because I just couldn't get it right until finally I was happy with it. So, and then the these branching arches things they're supposed to be like branch tunnels. And again, that's that Stabilo All pencil that activates with water or acrylic medium and becomes very dark. I use Posca pen, white Posca pen, quite a bit in here for all these little dots. And also to highlight images, parts of the images, whiskers in the ears, highlight this side of her face, highlights in the little eyes. I have more text here. Let's see if I can read. Okay, this one says compassion. That's her. She is wonderment, and she is magic. And there's a layer of white Posca pen text, which I can't read, under this group of collage images. More Posca pen here. You know, I look back at this and I kind of think, gee, I did a better job in those days than I am now. I think maybe I just really like this style, which I've kind of moved away from. Maybe I would like to move back to it. Nothing's stopping me. These little fairy lights, the way I did those was I put a little cluster of dots from the Posca pen, and then immediately, while it was still wet, tapped it with my finger to kind of smear it. And then in the end, when they were dry, I came back and put a bright white dot in the center. So I've used these fairy lights in many other spreads. Okay, I think this is one of my, well, I said it, one of my favorites of all. And I had it marked because I was thinking about doing a calendar of art journal spreads with cats. It would be problematic because of the seam, but you know, if you know you're looking at an art journal, you know about the seams. Okay, so this one, which is our last one for today, I think, yeah. Okay, this is, I ordered a vintage frame, and this came in it, this copy, I guess, of a photo of a dog. I'm pretty sure it was a copy because the paper's not very thick, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I just thought he was so handsome and so, you know, the dog itself has a vintage look. I'm not totally sure why, but I think he does. So, I can't really explain what I did here. I knew that he would be my focal point. I have a lot of magazine clippings under it all, here and over here and around the edge. I have text. Let's see. I can't read it. Anyway, it's titled Dog. And dogs are the best. God has given me a model of perfect, selfless, eternal love, the dog. Anyway, all these nice things I have to say about dogs, and there's these hearts here. And then I think I just put these on because they went so nicely with the color. Anyway, I really like this page too. And then a little Posca pen, a little halo for the dog. So I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. This one was really fun to do. Like I said, layers and layers of collage, paint, dry brush. This is dry brush gesso, I believe, and then maybe gone over again with a very transparent layer of acrylic paint, and I like to use golden fluid. Okay, let's see. I really would like to read this. The embodiment of love, God's gift to us. She is loyal and loving, more so than we deserve or can ever hope to earn. She something is what we love. All right, so that's it. The bear has appreciated all this, as has the little rabbit on the rock. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will be back soon to cover the final 4 spreads in this first art journal, including the cover. Okay, take care. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.